A big win last night for the Maple Leafs, coming back down 4-1. They win 6-5, and it was on the back of the captain, Auston Matthews. A vintage performance from him. What did you make of Auston's game and the comeback overall for the Leafs last night?
Well, they just kept competing, right? And, I think Berube talks about this post-game. You don't compete and dig yourself back out of that hole unless your attitude is sound and it's positive and it's strong. And so for me, that's the takeaway. And I wonder what changed within the group. And it does start with Auston Matthews. Auston Matthews, in the games that we've seen him play since their short Christmas break, is a different version of the Leafs captain that we've seen arguably all season long. So what was it? Did he just need a couple of days? Did he look at the standings and go,
time to get going here?
Yeah, the only way we get going here is if I lead by example. And he's been doing that. And last night he was rewarded. But, he's not going to be not rewarded when he plays the way that he played last night. He was in it. He was aggressive. Just all the things that Auston Matthews can do as a superstar in the National Hockey League. But more important than that was how it was clear everyone, at least in the later stages of first period on, was invested.
Yeah.
Michelli now is playing like a player that is a useful piece to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Max Domi had one of his better games last night. I'm a huge fan of Matthew Nyes. I always have been. But when that guy is going, he's a bull, and he's near impossible to stop. Their defense seems to be more in tune. And again, to revisit Berube's postgame, I think he acknowledged that there's connection now among the players.
Yep.
And, man, have we seen that for a consistent period of time this year? I'll answer that. No, we haven't. And that starts from the crease out. And for that team to bounce the way that they did when Joe Woll got pulled after the fourth goal, and then you just acknowledged the blocker save. We all saw Joe Woll, when they won the game, come off the bench and look up at the score clock and the video scoreboard to see the save again, and he was smiling.
Yeah.
And, he was as much a fan as every Maple Leaf fan in the building. So they've got some good mojo happening around them right now. But, man, are they going to need it? Because look at the non-playoff teams in the East right now, right? So you've got the Leafs, you've got Florida, you've got New Jersey, you've got the Rangers, you've got Ottawa, who looked like they were going to fight for that 3 spot in the Atlantic right to the end of the regular season. And you've got the Boston Bruins who are drifting back. So that's a pretty big collection. So there's nothing but runway here for the Maple Leafs to take advantage of.
Yeah. There's no team out of it in the East.
No.
We're in 2026, and each and every one of these teams are still very much in contention for a playoff spot.
Dregs, when we were talking earlier about Auston Matthews in the show, not just the goals themselves, but the sense of energy that it seemed he's changed since the Christmas break.
Yeah.
Now, when I ask ball players about this all the time, I say, what's working better for you lately? And they tell me to shut up because if they knew, they'd do it all the time. And it's probably a bit of the same conversation with Auston Matthews. What's the difference lately? But when you see Dregs average Auston Matthews or below average Auston Matthews like we've seen, and then this peak version again, what is that difference for you? Where do you think that pivot point is? Because it's so obvious how much better he's been these last few days.
Yeah. It's hard to pinpoint because we have the luxury of seeing an average Auston Matthews, still a good player, but not a superstar, to what we're seeing now of late and certainly last night where, and then again, I keep going back to the Berube postgame, but Craig Berube is always very honest, maybe honest to a fault at times, to be fair. But, he talks about how Matthews has played well. But, sorry, fellas, no, I had to clear my throat. He talked about how Matthews has played well, but maybe hasn't been rewarded because the puck hasn't gone in the net for him as often as we're accustomed to. Yes and no. I don't think that's entirely correct. I think there's some fairness in how, Matthews has had chances on the power play and the puck hasn't gone in. But he also drove play last night, right? So whatever it is, it's impossible, again, to try and describe, because I don't know Matthews can describe it.